In between receiving terrifying nicknames and being an absolute monster on the NFL field, these safeties were nothing to joke around with. These players would hold down entire top halves of the football field at a time and even make plays in the box lined up as linebackers. No matter what play was run, you could bet your entire life savings that these safeties would be there to stop it. You never tested these players, as they would definitely make you pay for it. Being a top 6 safety of all time is nothing to really joke about. It's kind of a thing of its own. Like, there's not a lot of people who were top 6 of all time. But in my opinion, a top 6 safety list of all time is incomplete without the likes of Paul Krause. Now that's why he's going to be my honorable mention. You could make arguments for other safeties being here, but in my personal opinion, I do feel that he deserves the number 6 spot. At least, in my opinion, when you look at it, you have to have the all-time leader in interceptions here. Now, a quick disclaimer with Paul Krause, I could not find any game footage of him anywhere. So, I searched and searched and searched, and there was like 11 seconds of gameplay here and 12 seconds of it there. Paul Krause had an astonishing 81 interceptions in his career, which is no easy feat to achieve, but that's not all. Krause played a hefty amount of games over a long period of time, having played in 226 games over a 16-year career. Now seasons, back then, were only 14 games at a time. But either way, he played in a lot of games. Playing from 1964 to 1979, he played before what most would deem as the passing era, and still had the most interceptions of all time. Being 6'3" as a safety definitely has its pros, especially when you look at the size of safeties in today's NFL. He was elected to 3 All-Pro first teams, 3 more second-team All-Pros, along with 8 Pro Bowls. His career was more than worthy to be a Hall of Famer, and hearing that nod, being elected to the Hall of Fame in 1998, how good do you think Paul Krause would be in today's game? Before we get on with the video, I do want to say thank you guys so much for all your love and support, and if you're not already, click subscribe. It really does help out a lot. Hit the like button, that also helps out a lot, and comment down below. We can have discussions on what you think of my list and what would your list be. So once again, thank you guys all so much for your support and love, and I'll catch you all later. Peace. Soaring in at number 5, I actually have Brian Dawkins here. It's kind of like an eagle. I know that, again, another lame joke, but I thought I'd throw it in there anyway. Looking at just his career, stats, and accolades, you might be able to say he's not top 5. But looking at the presence he made on the football field feels like more than enough to have him here. Being one of the most feared players in the 2000s, most players in the NFL during this time would say he might be top 3 of all time. His career stats don't do him justice. He was a menace and was known for his hard-hitting playstyle. Just to explain what I mean, here are the nicknames Wolverine and Weapon X. If that's not backing me up enough, I don't know what does. Looking at his career, he racked up stats like crazy, having 37 interceptions, 26 sacks, 1,147 tackles, which is top 50 all time, and 36 forced fumbles, which is tied for 13th all time. Being an absolute nightmare to not just opposing quarterbacks, but to all opposing players. Being elected to 9 Pro Bowls, 4 first-team All-Pros, and 1 more second-team All-Pro throughout his 16-year career. Playing that long of a career is, again, no joke. He tormented with other teams with just his aura, and even though he was a safety, he seemed to be everywhere on the field. Gliding his way at number 4, it's going to be Ken Houston. Now personally, I feel like you could have him higher on your own list, but anything below top 4 is just completely disrespectful and delusional, at least in my opinion. Ken Houston is an all-time talent. The first thing I want to credit Houston for is being elected to a Pro Bowl in all but 2 years of his 14-year career. He started in all but 19 games of his long career, which is a feat in of itself. Having 49 career interceptions is, again, no easy feat, but he did it. Being 6'3" is amazing compared to players this day and age. It definitely helped his success. With the NFL not counting a lot of stats back in the day, there's a lot of missing stats that we can't accurately fill in today. But what you can't deny is that he was elected to 2 first-team All-Pros and 2 more second-team All-Pros, and being elected into the Hall of Fame in 1986. Being as young as I am, it's really hard for me to accurately rate these older players as I didn't watch them myself. With the NFL not recording stats, I really honestly have no way of accurately describing him as a player, at least to the best of my ability, or how great he truly was. But based off of just stats and accolades, he's a lock at number 4. Being one of the best off-ball safeties, I have Ed Reed flying in here at the number 3 position. I saw a video once, and the caption was something along the lines of 70% of Earth's surface is covered in water, and the other 30% is covered by Troy Polamalu. I feel Ed Reed should be in the exact same type of category, flying to the ball whenever the opportunity presented itself. I mean, he has 64 career interceptions, which is good for 7th of all time. Doing all this in only a 12-year career, he's actually the first player on this list that's won any type of accolade, that being a Defensive Player of the Year in 2004. He finished top 6 in voting for that award 3 other times in his career, being an absolute terror to quarterbacks of opposing teams. In his career, he was elected to 5 different first-team All-Pros, 3 second-team All-Pros, along with 9 Pro Bowls. There's no doubt that this man deserves this spot. In fact, I believe you could even make an argument for top 2, being an integral part of the 2012 Super Bowl winning season for the Baltimore Ravens. He would wind up finishing his career with 64 interceptions, 646 tackles, and 34 tackles for loss. What would have happened if Ed Reed's prime lasted longer than it did? Being one of the best to ever do it, this dude is just number 2 of all time, at least in my opinion. You could make an argument for number 1, but I have Emmett Tunnel here. This dude was a menace. The only knock on Tunnel is going to be how long ago he played. But not because of how long ago he played, but because the NFL was not recording stats back then. At least not as many as they record today. One stat they were recording, though, was interceptions, and boy did he have plenty of those, being second all-time with 79 interceptions and playing even earlier than anyone else on this list. He's quite literally the reason passing wasn't a thing. His career lasted 14 years, from 1948 to 1961. That was a long time ago, and even during the non-passing era, he's still second all-time in interceptions. Oh, and pretty much his entire career was only 12 games back then per season. But he was also a kick returner in his prime. He was a huge reason why both the New York Giants and Green Bay Packers would win a championship. Being elected to 4 first-team All-Pros, 2 second-team All-Pros, and 9 Pro Bowls, which isn't an easy feat especially during that time, how could Tunnel be if he played in today's NFL? Being the best safety of all time, at least in my opinion, has to be clear-cut, and it's Ronnie Lott. Now, the only problem with Ronnie Lott is he doesn't actually have any accolades to back him up, for an example. No Defensive Player of the Years, no MVPs, no nothing like that. Lott might be one of the most well-rounded safeties ever. Known for his bone-shattering hits, he was also a ball hawk in his own right, forcing 16 fumbles and having 63 interceptions in his 14-year career. He was a defensive cornerstone across from Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. He helped the 49ers dynasty win 4 Super Bowls throughout his career. While he wasn't the only superstar on that team, not even on the defense alone, he was there for the entire stretch of winning. He bleeds 49er through and through. He received votes for Defensive Player of the Year 4 times, an MVP once, and never won any award. That's crazy. He would end up finishing his career with 63 interceptions, 1,146 tackles, with 43 fumble recoveries. He was elected to 6 first-team All-Pros, 1 second-team All-Pro, and 10 Pro Bowls. I personally feel Ronnie Lott is the consensus best overall safety. Lott was crazy good, at least in my opinion. There's no other place for him. Where does Ronnie Lott rank for you?